Welcome to our Thursday night Zoom crop. Sorry, just have to turn something down. Um, Tonight we're going to be working on the Hit the Road project playbook. So let's take a look at my desktop and let's kind of go through that. So normally, what I usually do when I get the project playbook, I like to compare the project playbook to the project recipe to make sure that I have enough paper to do both, right? So this project recipe was created by, her name is just, it's Debbie, and the rest of it will come to me. And she does Pack to Pretty Pages. And this project playbook actually uses all of the paper in the designer pack, plus some cardstock. Just just need to test sound. Okay, let's see if that's gonna work. Okay. Um, so Debbie, um, as I said, does packs of pretty pages, and she uses all the pages. So even though this is a playbook, it's like a guidebook, or it's going to use everything. So wouldn't have enough paper for the project recipe. So what I'm doing is I am pulling out the project recipe, and I'm going to only use 2 designer papers instead of 3, and I'm going to use the rest cardstock. And we're going to do this project recipe next week, and I've also created this project recipe already using Passport to Adventure. So I put these 2 papers aside and hoping that when we do the project playbook, I will be able to use something else instead of it. So this one here has the license plates on it, and it's got the blue stars on the back. I'm thinking of probably just using maybe a blue cardstock. And then the second one is the chevrons, and that has the road on it. So I'm thinking maybe white. We're going to see what we can do with that. And then the third one that they use is this red one, and I've just got some red and black cardstock. So that's for the project recipe, and that will be next Thursday on Zoom. We will do that. So what you're going to need tonight for the project playbook is the rest of the Hit the Road. She does use all of the variety map packs. She'll be using a lot of the embellishments, but we won't be putting those on, as well as the stickers. I'm going to just put these to the side. You will need 3 sheets of bright white cardstock, 2 sheets of black. I also brought in another white and a blue to take up for those 2 sheets that I took out for the project recipe. You're also going to need your custom cutting system. You're going to need your road trip border, as well as the road sign mini trio punch, your custom cutting system, the smallest oval, and we're only going to need 1 blade, but I have all my blades out, so we're going to need those. So let's get this sorted and let's start cutting. So we only cut 3 sheets of designer paper, right? And then the rest is cardstock. So what you're going to need to get out to cut is the roads, one of each of the icons. So the one that has like the detour, the stop sign, so all of those, and then one that has all the cars and the drive through, and that you'll need those 2, as well as 2 black and 2 white cardstock. And that's what we're going to be cutting. The rest of them are going to be base pages. So I do want to walk through this a little bit with you. So for those of you that don't use mats, this is using a lot of mats. So if we look at what we're going to be cutting, half of designer paper number 1 is mats. Half of designer of cardstock 4 is mats. 5 is mats other than a few punches. 6 other than this 1/6A. This rest is all mats, and all of this is mats. If you look through the project playbook, basically what Debbie has here is a little bit of borders and mats, whether it be paper mats or mats from the mat pack. And maybe you kind of just want to watch and see, and then maybe see what you're going to cut and what you're not going to cut, because you'll see that, like I said, it is all basically just mats that are being added. So let's go to designer paper number 1, and what you're going to need also is a spot to put 5 piles, right? You're going to need, because we have 5 layouts, we are doing 5 2-page layouts, so we'll be ending up with 10 pages when we're done, right? So you're going to need 5 different piles, and we'll put all of our pieces in the piles like we normally do. So for designer paper number 1, which is the road lines, we're going to put the lines vertical, right? And we are going to cut two of them that are 1 by 12. So you know I always like cutting 1 inches on the right hand side. So we're going to cut 2 that are 1 by 12. That's 1A and B, and those are going to go in pile number 1. The next one, 1C and 1D, are 1 1/4. Again, we can cut 1 1/4 on the right hand side. So that's 1 and 1 1/4. And this is going to be the reverse, so we can turn those 2 over, and that's also going to be for layout number 1. Now, the next one we're going to need is 3-inch piece. And then we're going to rotate that and cut it at 4 inches. And we'll have 3 of those. So 1 at 4 inches, the next one at 4 inches. And this is 1E, F, and G, the reverse side. And those are all for layout number 4. So layout number 4. So the last one that we need from this is a 2 1/4. So 2 1/4. This piece is going to be extra, so we can put that to the side. This one, H, is going to be reversed, and that is for number 4 also. Okay, so the next one we need, it has the stop signs, like all of the railroad detour, we're going to need that. And all we're going to do with this is cut them into 4-inch strips. So 4 by 12-inch strips. And it looks like my camera got moved a bit. I need to push everything way up. So hopefully I keep on camera here. So we'll do 4. So the first one goes in layout number 2. And then we'll cut this one in half at 2 inches. And these both, 2B and 2C, go for layout number 5. So that's 5. So we have something in 1, 2, 4, and 5. So the next one, 3, designer paper number 3. And remember, if I'm going too quickly, you can pause and just catch up. 3A and 3B, those are going to be 4 inches. And you're putting your paper in the correct way, as if you're looking at it, it's going to be in here going the correct direction. So the first 2, 3A and B, are both going to go on number 1. So we have a big pile for number 1 already. Now this one we're going to cut ovals. Let's just put that to the side for now. But what we are going to do now with our black cardstock is we're going to be getting our road trip border punch. I did a really cool border with this. I layered it to make it look like, this is when we were looking for our Christmas tree, so I have it layered white to make it look like snow, and then I made our black truck on it, just to show you. I was playing with it. So let's get the black cardstock, get back on track here, and we are going to cut 2 borders. So remember, we're going to line it up at the back black line. Here, I'll get this out of the way so it's not in our way. So we'll line that up along the little black line at the front. I have glares all over tonight. I don't know why. I have most of my lights off and I'm still getting glares. So I apologize. I have some glares and shadows that I don't normally have. This must be some older black cardstock because it's a little bit heavier. And so we finish this one. We'll cut one more border. And I'll bring this back to show you where we're at. We're here, we're doing 4A and 4B. I'm just going to leave the borders at the top there. So if you're watching this later on YouTube, this is in my VIP group for my customers. So if you purchased from my website, you will be able to see these videos. I am leaving them public till the beginning of May, and then they will be going back to be just for my customers. So if you are not one of my VIP customers and you'd like to continue to see some of my videos, please reach out to me and I'll let you know how you can do that. Okay, so let's go on. Those ones for A and B, those are for number 1. So let's put them in the number 1 pile. Okay, next thing is 4C. We need a 2-inch piece. This needs to be cleaned up just a little bit. Let me see how much we have. So I'm going to cut it at 2 inches. This 2-inch piece is for number 4. Just going to bring back the rest of my paper here. Then we have some 3.5-inch mats. So we have 4D 3.5 by 3.5. That is going to go with number 1. Then we're going to have a 3.5 by 3.5. And that's going to go in number 3, that's our first piece for number 3. And then we are going to have another 3.5 by 3.5, and that is also going to go for number 3. Keep these little black pieces. I think I cut that at 3. I'm going to have to cut another one. That's fine. Keep these pieces. We're going to cut some shapes with those. Okay, the last one we should have 3.5, and this one's going to need trimming, hopefully a little bit, and it's not quite at 3.5 because of our borders. I'm going to do my best. It's basically right there, so we're going to rotate this to be 3.5. So we have another 3.5 by 3.5 for number 3. Then we have a 3 by 4. And the 3 inches, so I cut it at 4, then I'm rotating and taking a 1/2 inch off to make it a 3 by 4, and that one is for number 4. And then the rest is for the traffic signs. So we're going to cut those after. Okay, so for the next one is designer paper number 5. Again, this is just going to be mats. And I think for this layout, for these 5 layouts, you may want your mats. This may be a time that you don't normally use mats, but you may want them this time. But let's go through and have a look. We're going to cut this at 6.5. And then rotate this at 4.5. And I like those ones because you can mount a 6x4 photo on that with a peekaboo pocket. That is for layout number 1. Layout number 1 pile is getting pretty big. We're going to do another one. At 6.5, we're going to cut it at 4.5. This bottom piece is going to go into our road pile signs, and this one is also going to go with number 1. So the rest, you should have a 5.5-inch piece, 5.5 lines up along the edge. Sometimes we're a little bigger than 5.5, and that's okay. If you want to trim it off, you can. I'm just going to leave mine. We're going to rotate that and we're going to cut it at 3.5. It's pretty close. So we're going to go to 3.5 and another 3.5 and another 3.5. And then this extra, I'm just going to throw that in the roadside file signs. And all 3 of these ones are going to go, well, actually, no, one is going to go in number 4 and 2 are going to go in number 5. Now we're to our white papers. Now, 6A was 1 3/4. You can cut that on the right-hand side if you'd like. So that is 6A, and that is going to go on layout number 4. And then we're going to cut some 3.5-inch mats. We're going to cut 3 of them. So it's 3.5. We're going to rotate, cut at 3.5. We're going to do 2 more at 3.5. And another one at 3.5. We'll have a little white piece left over. These 3 go for number 1. Hopefully I got those all lined up properly, because man, we got a lot. We have a lot of mats on number 1. Next one, we're going to go at 6.5 for 6E. We're going to go at 6.5. You should just be trimming off a little bit. So we'll trim that at 6.5. I have a little 1/4 inch strip left. Rotate this to cut at 4.5. Again at 4.5. These, one is for layout number 2 and one is for layout number 4. I'm getting my piles mixed up here. And then the last one, we need a 4x3. So this is 3 inches. We're going to rotate it and cut it at 4. So you should have a 4x3 and you'll have a little white piece left over. This one here is for layout number 4. And we only have one more to cut for mats. So this one is going to be 4 inches. We will rotate this and cut this at 6 inches. One is for layout number 3, one is for layout number 4. Okay, and then we have another one we are going to cut at 3.5 inches. 3.5 inches by 5.5 inches, right to the edge. And we're going to cut another one at 5.5. We'll have a little piece left over. These two are both for layout number 5. And last of our cutting is going to be again at 3.5 inches. And rotate this at 3.5 and 3.5 and one more at 3.5. These will be for 3x3 photos. A little piece of extra. These ones go for number 3. Layout number 3. So next what we have to do is we have to cut some shapes and we need to cut some ovals. So let's get our 13-inch mat and this one with the cars on it. And what we need to do is the smallest. It says the extra small with the blue on the outside. This is going to cut the furthest away. So if you do have your guides, you might want to use those. I'm just going to turn it sideways. You do want to make sure that your pattern, oh no, we don't have to worry because we are actually using this back part. So if you want to cut it on the back, if I don't know, it's not going to fit this way because we're using the blue blade. It's too far that way. So we will have to cut it this way. Make sure that you have enough room on all sides. Get your feet in before you start rotating it. I could tell my feet weren't in. It wasn't moving properly. There we go. And this does cut the furthest away. So this is, I said by Debbie. It's Debbie Martin. Debbie Martin does packs to pretty pages, and I have taught some of her classes to my customers before. We've done some of hers. So she does a good job of having simple pages using the entire pack. And like you saw, we are going to have very little left over. So both of these two ovals, this is left over, so you can put that to the side. These two are both going to go on layout number 2. Okay, let's get everything that cleaned up. And then the next thing we are going to do is cut some shapes. You have a whole bunch of black left over. So let's see what we need. It looks like we need one of each. And then 2 extra the road sign one. So I'm going to try to use some of these little pieces, the smallest pieces first. That I might not use for another project. So we need in total 4 of these signs. So we'll get 4. If I do it upside down, I can kind of see where it's punching and I can get it really close. So we need 4 of those. And then we need 2 of the triangles. I can get 1 more out of this piece. And then we need 1 more triangle. Don't think I'm going to be able to get anything out of here. I might be able to get some arrows, but I could cut one. Oh, I could probably get arrows. Oh, yep, I can get arrows out of this one. So if you can turn it over, sometimes you can save on paper. And then I just need one more triangle. So one more triangle I need. Okay, we have those all punched. And there's so many. Melissa Ullman, I just saw, has a YouTube out where she made a whole bunch of flowers out of the mini road sign trio. So I'm going to get both my 13-inch mats, and let's see if we can get these dry fitted. I won't take the time to put everything together on camera, but I will dry fit them. And we're going to talk about some options so that we have enough paper for the project recipe. You are going to need your hit the road mats because she uses almost all of those. And instead of using my 12-inch trimmer, I will just use my photo trimmer when we need to trim those off. So let's start by looking at what we need for the back. And here's one of the ones, because this paper I did save for the project recipe. So we have an option either of using a white paper for this one or for layout number 4. So we're going to switch it up and see which way we like it. But let's do this one according to the book. So we have the chevrons on one side, and then we have the red location ones. It's got the roads on the back, so that's going to be layout number 1. So let's get our pile, if you still have your pile all together. So we have the cars. So it says, and Debbie's really good at saying exactly where to go. So this is going to be 3A is going to be 1/2 inch. And again, I'm not attaching it now because I may change this to white cardstock to save this. And I'm going to take all my mats out because, like I said, we are going to be using all of the mats in the mat pack. Okay, so it's 1/2 inch on each side. And let me see if I can move everything over so that we can get most of the instruction book in here. Can I get it off? Okay. That works. Okay, so what we have here is we have a black mat, we have a white mat, we have 2 white mats for the right hand side. Our borders we can get, so we had this long gray one, and that is going to be, and we have the roads. So what's going to happen first is the roads will go down. Let's see if I can get these. And they are going to go over top. So the road will go at the bottom. And then the gray will go on top. And then we'll have the same one on this side. And great, because my 2 designs matched up perfectly for my roads. And then we also have the punch out that is going to go on the road. So I'm going to overlap where this black part is on the punch. I'm going to overlap that at the seam so that it's going to cover the seam between the road and that asphalt color. So when I attach them, I'm going to make sure that I cover the seams. I know it's moving all over the place now, but when I attach it, I will do that. Okay, so now we have those. Now we have a black mat that we cut. We have a black mat, and then from our mat pack we're going to get this one that says life is a highway and turn the key and start the adventure. Now you can use exactly what Debbie has showed to use in here for your embellishments. She will end up using them all. I do see she has one of the triangles and one of the signs, or road signs. And when we, let me get some of these. So you should be able to do, in here, we will do a 6x4, a 6x4, and you can cover these, right? You don't need to keep them. If you like that and you want to keep the embellishments, you can do that. Right, if you want to keep this one an embellishment, and then just put the embellishments, and then these ones will be 3x3s, 4 3x3s. Right. So again, you can, oh, you're not going to see that white on white with that, but so that is project number 1. And again, if you wanted another 6x4 and cover that one, you have 3 6x4s with peekaboo pockets plus 3x3. So there's a lot of opportunities for pictures here. So that is project number 1. And just like magic, we're moving on to layout number 2. So for this one, you're going to need the road. That's got the red dots on the back. And then you're going to need the black check one. So that has the cars on the back of that. And then, so if we get everything that we need that we cut for layout number 2. Now, this is where you can decide, maybe you don't want to use this. Noreen showed a really good way to use this also, right? How we could cut it down. She did that at last time, the last virtual crop, right? You could also put this page in the middle and cut the other 6 inches on each side. So I'm going to leave that up to you to determine how you want to possibly do that. But let's set this up as she has it here. We are going to cut this one mat in half. So these mats are 6.5. So you're going to cut it at 3.25. Okay. And then what we will need is our 2 ovals that we cut. So we will have an oval, which will be able to have an oval photo in there. You would cut it with the green blade. So use the outside of the smallest with either the red or the green blade, depending on how big of a frame you wanted. And then we have one here and here. So this is just like small photos here. You can see that she's added some embellishments. But again, there's other options of ways to use this, and like check out what Noreen did. She had some really good ideas to use this paper also. So we have this one with the signs that is going to go at the side, and she had said, yeah, to a 1/2 inch from the right edge. And again, like I said, she has very good instructions. We will have our one mat, and then we will have one mat from our mat cards. And one more, this one here, this mat, we are also going to cut this one in half. And again, she's using everything, right? This is why we get 5 2-page spreads from what she did. 3.25, so I don't cut it wrong. Lots of photos, very simple pages, and using the entire pack. So again, so that is layout number 2, project number 2. And again, you can use this as just a mat, putting a photo on top of it. You won't see that on top, it's of the white, but you have 2 small photos with some embellishments. Maybe this is your journaling about your trip. So that is project number 2. Moving on to project number 3. So we have the asphalt paper on the left and the blue star on the right. Okay, so let's get our number 3 pile, which we just basically have mats. And we're going to use some mat cards. So we're going to go at the top. We're going to have a 3x3, 3.5x3.5, a white, a black, a white, a black, and a white. And then you will use the rest as mat cards. So you're going to have the red one, you will have the blue one, and the white mat that we cut, which is 7A. Sorry, it's going to go over here. We have that one, and then we have 7A. And again, you could just mat a photo here. This one's showing it can be double matted. This could be for your journaling. Again, you can use these for photos. if you see the embellishments, she's used the stickers to go across this page. Let's get out this sticker pack. In the sticker pack, she used two of the um, border stickers. So if you see here, she used the roads going across in between the 3x3 mats and the 4.5. She put the roads and then she put the cars on them, right? So it does add a lot more to these pages once you put those stickers on. You can also see that she used this one to put a whole bunch of embellishments and put more embellishments down here. So she used a lot of the embellishments and stickers on this page, and it makes a big difference when you have a very basic layout like this. So that is project number 3, very quickly. So project 4, so this is the one that I was saving this paper for the project recipe. This is the other one that has the road signs on it, which has the yellow on the back. Yes. So I saved that for the project recipe. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring out a piece of black cardstock and see if I like that or not. I mean, I haven't done these before, so this is kind of like just seeing if this is going to be enough. Maybe can I change it around to make it look enough? So let's bring out all the pieces that we had cut. We have a whole bunch of pieces. So what you should have this asphalt one. It again is going to go 1/8 of an inch from this side. So only 1/8 of an inch. And then you're going to put the black one on top of that and the white one on top of that. You can't see black and black. Once I put them down, you can see it has 3 layers. So the asphalt, then the black, then the white on that side. Continuing with the right side, we have 2 of these asphalt mats. We have a 4x6. Actually, I think it's this one. It's the 6F. It's this 4.5 by 6.5 inch mat. These kind of frame right at the top. This one will go besides, and that's another reason she cut a lot of her mats at 6.5 by 4.5, because they're the same size as the mats from the mat card. Now on this side, and this is what I don't know if it's going to work because I mean we have like black on black. So I don't know if this is really going to work or not. One of these is double matted, and then there is a gray one, and there is a white one. Again, it's very plain, so I don't know if I'm going to like that or not. I really do want to save that paper for the project recipe. So I went in my stash, and from Gallivant, there's a blue paper that looks just like this green paper, but I didn't know if I could put the blue and the green side by side. What I'm going to do is I'm going to think about this page. Maybe the other thing is, let's go back to layout number 1. And now I don't know if, see, the black isn't going to work with this either as the background, because we have black mats. So it's not going to work on this one. This is the paper that we're saving. So I'm going to think about this. I'll come back and maybe update as to what I want to actually do on project 4 for the left-hand side to make it pop out a little bit more. So let me think on that one. But you can see here she used a lot of these embellishments that the punches that we cut. She put them along the side with embellishments. So there's just this whole border of signs, right, that she took from the embellishments, the stickers, and from what we punched to make this border. And maybe I should make another border like that. So I'm going to work on this one. I'm going to post what I decide on my VIP page so you can see my completed page. Maybe I'll add something on to the end of this video for project number 4. Sorry about that. I probably cut it off a little too soon. So for project number 5, we have a bright white for the left-hand side, and we have that blue stars. But again, I was saving the blue star for the project recipe, and I think my light is changing. outside. The sun is going down, so it's getting dark. Sorry about that. So I just have blue cardstock, and let's see if that is going to work. So let's get out our last stack that we cut. We're going to put the signs along the inside. And this is why I figured I might get away with just plain cardstock here, because we're covering most of it up, right? So what we have is we have our 2 white mats that we cut. We have 2 black mats that we cut on this side, and then we're going to use the last 2 of our mats from the mat pack. So this, we are going to cut both of these in half. So at 3 1/4 and at 3 1/4. Okay, on that one I need to just trim off a tiny bit more. Okay, yeah, you can really shave it thin with that. So what we have out of these is the back of the stop sign is the red. So these ones are going to go down here. Again, if you don't want to put them on an angle, you can put them straight, right? Because, you know, not all of us like angles. And there, so it kind of fits. So I'm good with the blue cardstock for this layout for Project 5. That is not a problem because you're covering up most of that designer paper anyways. And then you can see that she's used the last 2 sticker strips along this seam here. Right, you can see here, and then more of the embellishments and stickers along here. So very nice, like it, very quick. I was able to save the paper to do the project recipe. It's just I don't know about project 4, what I want to do for this one here. And then also check to see if I can, if you want to change it. I mean, it's full, it's pretty full. You still have room here, but if you didn't like the way this one went on the roads, there are alternatives that you can do for that. So 10 pages. So in, you know, just over a half an hour, we were able to do, with 1 paper pack and some cardstock, 5 2-page spreads. So we did 10 pages. So I hope that gave you some information of how to complete this project playbook. Again, we will continue and do the project recipe next week, and then I'll be able to show you the completed page then. So thanks for joining me. Happy scrapping, and see you all again soon.